post the link to your Facebook.
Google.
That doesn't give me.
I think I'm pretty sure the only one that ever watches live is Sean anyway.
It's true. Everyone's on Bill.
That's the one I want. Well, I'm going to share it anyway, you pessimistic cunts.
Let's open that Q&A.
That should be the new tagline for the show. Pessimistic cunts.
That's so true.
That's what Bulby Faces means, didn't you know that?
Oh, is that what it is? In whatever Bogdan is from? Language? Estonian?
Moldova. He's from Moldova.
Bogdan.
Bogdan from Moldova.
Did he ever get the network working on his VCR?
I don't know. He hasn't called back.
So.
He hasn't called back in a while, so.
He man. He probably got. Yeah.
He's probably.
I don't know. I got fried trying to get it to work. He's streaming on Twitch right now. Anyone excited?
That's the one. Nope.
We're up to a whole 4 patrons now, Adam.
Ooh.
Still haven't hit that $50 mark yet, but we're inching there. We're inching there.
Okay. This is episode 247.
Holy balls.
In 3, 2, 1, record. This week's episode of The Rundown is brought to you by Ric Flair Fake Tears. Do you need to pretend to cry in front of hundreds of thousands while your beautiful daughter pretends to bitch you out and pretends to disown you on live TV? You need Ric Flair Fake Tears. They'll make you cry real good.
You're not even trying anymore with these.
I didn't write that one down. I just don't have anything written down because I've been sick for the last 3 days.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and if there's one thing Ric Flair's really good at, it's just crying real tears on command. It's kind of his thing.
It's true.
Well, I hate both of you. So. I also don't have a question, so we're just going to get right.
Wait, does that mean... Theme song! I'm trying to put my pop filter on. I totally forgot to put it on at the beginning.
Yeah, way to go.
So if there's like random squeaking in the background of my audio, I'll try to cut it out. I think I should be one directional going on here anyway.
That's okay. I didn't put the audio from the Hangout through my speakers.
How dare you? You're fired.
Is this going to be another technical difficulties episode?
No, I just fixed it just now. I just forgot that I was on a new browser and I had to change it on the new browser.
And he's not going to want to. He's not going to edit all that empty space, so he's going to run the theme song for at least 3 minutes here.
Well, he didn't empty the dead space last time. He just made me sound like a dick sitting there talking to myself. I do a plenty good job sounding like a dick all by myself. Thank you very much.
That's true. That's very true. It's very true. Lasting longer than Eden Styles' last Kevin Owens announcement. It's episode 247 of The Rundown. My name is Adam. I'm your host. It is Wednesday, May the 25th, 2016. Joining me this week, the Intercontinental Champion, Jason, is here.
Well, I figured everyone else almost won it. I might as well, right?
And back from the depths, and apparently broadcasting us on Twitch, Andrew is here.
Hey, not yet actually. I didn't actually put us on Twitch. But hey, how's it going? Back by unpopular demand. Especially from my good friend Will, who wanted to see me back on the show because he
thought you had been fired.
He thought I'd been fired for some reason and wanted the heel of the Rundown back. So I didn't know I was really the heel of the Rundown. I mean, I don't really see you as a face, Adam, but we're here and it's time to talk some wrestling.
Adam's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
He's a guy.
I'm Switzerland. Barely.
And so we're here, and it's a hell of a week for wrestling, if I may say so. So it's a perfect opportunity for me to step down off of my high horse of Shadowvane at shadowvane.net or Tuning Japanese at tuningjapanese.com to rejoin my brethren.
Wonderful podcasts on the Beefcase Network.
On the network, name pending. And we're here, and we're ready to talk about some wrestling. So how's everyone doing?
Why, did something happen this week in wrestling?
I heard, I think, a few things. A few
Nothing,
things.
nothing real important. I mean,
Oh, I know what it is.
it was a
Big Cass
pay-per-view.
confronted the Dudley Boys. It happened. WWE.com told me it happened.
There you go.
Kevin Owens became only the second current WWE superstar to be on the main card of every pay-per-view during his first year in the company. You know,
Is there a more useless statistic than that?
It's a pretty useless statistic. I gotta agree.
Charlotte became the first woman to be on the main card of 11 pay-per-views in a row.
That is significant in a way, I guess.
Adam Rose requested his release from WWE.
Can we start with Flair? The Flair segment on Raw. I know it's going way out of order, but can we start with that?
Sure.
Like what?
We'll get to the voicemails later.
What an amazing heel promo! Like this, I watched the pay-per-view and I watched part of Raw, and there was just some amazing mic work and her promo, turning on her dad like that and sending him packing, was beautiful. Like that was absolutely gorgeous. I loved every second of that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gotten better and better on the mic as she's gone along. It's definitely an area she's improved dramatically over the last few weeks. But yeah, that promo is great. The only criticism I think at the beginning, and she does this a lot, she has a tendency to let the crowd chants kind of get to her and take her off course a little bit. But she did a really good job of correcting herself and getting onto what she needed to get onto and delivered.
Certainly better than that promo she cut when she was the first ever women's champion. That next night on Raw that set up this wonderful Natty feud. That was just terrible.
Setting up the genetics match, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm proud. I'm proud of what they're doing, and it's nice that, I mean, if you're going to have your top heel in the women's division really get over as a heel, what better way than to basically turn against not only her father, which is fucked up, but one of the most beloved wrestlers in history. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I think part of what made it work, too, is that there's an element of realism. We as wrestling fans all know that Ric Flair wasn't there when she was growing up, so we all kind of know that there's a lot of truth behind what she's saying. So that added cool segment.
Yeah. So, I wanted to jump in on that because I just thought that was one of the cooler moments from this week in wrestling, storyline-wise.
Now, can I go to one of the worst moments of wrestling?
Sure, let's do it. Why not?
Let's do this. Sure. So, we talked last week, Adam, about how they've kind of ditched whatever they had going on with Apollo Crews prior to the last pay-per-view. So they bring him back this week, kind of put that little nice video package together for him last week, bring him back this week, put him in the King of the Ring qualifier with Chris Jericho,
Money in the Bank.
What?
I'm sorry, Money in the Bank, that's right. Put him in the qualifier and against Chris Jericho, who really should be off given what happened the night before, but he's in the qualifier.
I thought they covered in bandages was a nice touch, though.
That was a great touch.
Yeah, it was.
But him overselling almost any time he hit the mat with his back.
But they do the segment where Sheamus jumps Apollo Crews, which would set up really nicely for Jericho getting the win because Crews is injured. Except Crews comes out 15 minutes later, smiling, bouncing around, not a thing wrong with him.
I tweeted about that, actually, on the Rundown Twitter. I tweeted about that. Yeah, that was a little ridiculous.
Like, how does somebody in the back not say, buddy, like, throw a bandage on your head or tape your ribs or do something? Like
limp, something?
Yeah, something. Don't be smiling Apollo right now. You should be pissed off.
Probably, yeah. I agree with you on that. I thought that was kind of weird.
Hurting Apollo.
Well,
hurt Apollo Crews.
And if he goes out there hurting, it doesn't take away as much when he loses the match to Jericho.
Don't get me wrong. I was glad that he lost because I don't think he deserves a spot in Money in the Bank just yet because he still has no character whatsoever to speak of. But yeah, I noticed that immediately. He came out all happy and jumping. It's like, oh, so didn't you just get the shit kicked out of you?
Yeah, and he has no character, but there is a part of me that would really relish just having the Money in the Bank match be all these exciting young talents rather than an old guard like Chris Jericho who you know isn't going to win, who we've seen in there before.
Well, it's probably going to set up a statistic, Chris Jericho, who's competed in the most Money in the Bank matches.
Created created the Money in the Bank ladder match, has competed in
it's true.
18 of them, has never won.
Has never won. Maybe this will be his year.
I feel like that's the story that they wanted to tell. Apollo Crews gets hurt, gets beaten up by Sheamus, and then loses the match to Jericho because he was beaten up by Sheamus. They just forgot to tell Apollo that.
Yeah, it was just, to me, it was a glaringly bad.
Yeah, no, I'm completely on the same page on that one. All right.
What was your biggest takeaway this week, Adam? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Oh man,
give us an indifferent one.
I had to watch Raw in 2 parts because I was so fucking sick on Monday night that I honestly don't remember a lot, but that's usual. Indifferent. Jesus.
Yeah, give us something indifferent.
Give us something. Tell us your most non-memorable memory of this week in wrestling. Thanks.
Spoiler alert. Try the New Day versus the Social Outcasts.
See, I had forgotten about that. Which was weird because I actually tweeted when they first came out and beat them up. I was like, wait, the Social Outcast looks strong? And then, of course, they lost immediately after the commercial break. I was like, oh, no, that's okay, back to normal.
How many of those guys are left?
And then Heath Slater got hit in the face with the cake.
Yeah, and I guess the indifferent part there comes in that it did nothing. They did nothing to further anything in the tag team division with that segment. It looks like the club is off doing their own thing now.
Yeah,
the vaudevillains you pretty much made useless at this point, and you just destroyed the Social Outcast. So what's left for the New Day?
I'm so confused by that whole thing with the club. Why? This seems like...
Oh, no. Makes perfect sense.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I can put on the fantasy booking hat and play this out for you. What's going to happen is they're going to jump AJ at some point. Now we're looking at Money in the Bank, a tag team match between them and AJ and a mystery partner. And you want to guess who the mystery partner is?
Roman Reigns?
No.
Gee, could it be Finn Balor?
Very good. Andy gets the gold star.
Finn Balor.
I have a feeling that's where we're ending up.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Extreme Rules.
Oh, God. Do we have to listen to a 10-hour voicemail?
I think this is the voicemail about it.
Oh, this is one. Okay. All right.
Hi, it's me. It's at Realist Tommy Malpasante.
Hey, wait a minute. Tommy.
Talk to you about the pay-per-view that was in my gorgeous, not home state, but still one of my favorite places in the world, New Jersey. Extreme Rules. And guys, I gotta tell you, Extreme Rules wasn't that bad. It's actually pretty good. You know? Yeah, a couple of haters, but that's okay. That's okay. I thought Extreme Rules was great. That Intercontinental title match was fantastic. And guys, how about Mikey Miz, huh? Mikey Miz retaining his title when nobody thought he could hold a candle to the 3 guys from the Indies. Honestly, guys, we know how good Cesaro, Dane, and KO are. But Miz held his own. And not only did he hold his own, I thought he fit it perfectly in that match. Miz was great. Love his whole shtick. He's so cocky, so arrogant. Actually, I like that fact that they're going to keep that going. Moving on, you had the Asylum match. Now, I'm a big fan of Dean Ambrose, but guys, don't ever do that match again. That match, man, it took too long to get the weapons that were hanging above the cage. Half of them were stupid. The only time the crowd popped was for something that wasn't known that was hanging above the cage, which was the thumbtacks. I'll give Jericho all the credit in the world for taking that bump, because that bump sucked. Like, not sucked like it didn't come out good on TV, like sucked to take because he had to pull out 68 thumbtacks from his friggin' back later on. I give Jericho all the credit in the world, but just guys, don't do a gimmick cage match. Gimmick cage match is a bleh. Like, especially if you're not going to have a top on it. I think like the Rundown host Adam tweeted, "What happens if Jericho escapes? He fell. What, did they restart the match?" Oh my God! Now on to the main event. You know, Roman Reigns and AJ Styles. They had a good match. You know, not too bad. They had a good match. You know, a little bit convoluted at the end, maybe some overbooking. Not going to get into how many, Styles clashes, chair shots Roman took, but hey, you know what? Seth Rollins. Hey, Seth Rollins came back. Hey. He pedigreed the shit out of Roman Reigns. Kind of disappointed he's still using the pedigree. mostly disappointed in it now since he's not part of the Authority no more, but great to see Seth Rollins back. And other than that, Dolph Ziggler's got to stop stealing Shawn Michaels' wardrobe. Like, seriously, he's like literally just stealing it right now. But anyway, guys, that's the Extreme Rules report from your boy, Tommy Moltisanti, and I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. And that's when I call in. I call in on Tuesday.
So, see you next Tuesday.
Bye, Tommy. Hey, it was Tommy. At least it was Tommy. Tommy's great. I miss Tommy. Tommy's a good guy. So yeah, that was our Extreme Rules little recap from Tommy here. He missed a few things in the middle there, but
mini recap.
There's a recap of 3 matches, but yeah.
Yeah. Which is really funny because when I was watching live and I had to keep pausing because I was grading some shit too. And when I had restarted it, I thought I was in the same spot, but for some reason it jumped ahead and it started with the Intercontinental title match. And I'm like, oh my god, they're starting with this, not knowing in my brain that like I'd missed a couple of matches. So. That's that Intercontinental title match. He started with that. What do you guys think of that match?
That was a match of the year candidate. Truthfully, that was best match of the card easily the entire night. And I thought usually those 4-way matches turn into a real clusterfuck, but those guys put it together beautifully. Everything seemed to work. They had a ton of logical false finishes. And again, Adam will tell you, I've been on this show the last couple of weeks singing the praises of The Miz and how underrated the guy is. And he went in there at that pay-per-view and really kind of stole that match, more so than the outcome. But I thought he was the one that came out of the match having raised his status even more than any of the other guys.
I would agree with you. I think that The Miz, and I haven't been on the show in a while, but I, going into this, was hoping The Miz would win because he is arguably one of the better heels in the company right now. He plays the chicken shit to a T, hiding behind his wife. At the end when he stole the pinfall victory and then crawled on hands and knees like up the ramp. Every little aspect of his character was on point. And to agree with you, that match was phenomenal. It was match of the night, and it's worth watching over again. It's fantastic.
Agrees all around. Going back to the voicemail for just a second, do we still consider Cesaro one of those indie guys? He's been in WWE for how long now? Anyway, but no, the match was amazing. Like you guys said, it hit all the spots that it needed to hit. We got a nice setup for what I thought was going to be Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn solo feud. They're not going to both be in Money in the Bank. We'll get to that. Mm-hmm. Plus, you still had Cesaro take the pinfall because it didn't make a huge load of difference. Plus. The Miz, like you said, sneaks out that victory. Perfect, just chicken shit heel. Oh, hey, that guy's down. Pin, and I'm gonna keep my title. And I think it worked perfectly. It told all the stories that it needed to tell, and I think it just worked out fantastically. So. And
once again, victory snatched away from Sami Zayn at the very end, which is pretty much pretty much his gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. And they even on Raw during Sami Zayn's match at the beginning, they said something. He came so close, and I'm like, yeah, it's that NXT storyline again. But it's great. I like that about him because when he eventually does win, it's going to mean that much more.
Do we get the Sami Zayn Redemption Tour 2016?
I hope so.
Well, is there a guy on the WWE payrolls that's done more in terms of raising his status with almost never winning a big match than Sami Zayn has?
Yeah, exactly right. I would agree with you.
Well, then we went to a topic I've been looking forward to talking about. The Asylum match. Or as I like to call it, exactly 26 minutes of my life I will never get back again. I went through and I went back and watched it. Part of me, I think, initially afterwards was stuck in the glow of the finish because I thought the finishing spot with the thumbtacks was nice. Then I went back and rewatched the match to kind of grade it on its own, and it does not hold up at all. Boring. The crowd was not into it. In terms of psychology, it made zero sense. Nothing in the match made any sense, the way they told the story. For example, so the first weapon that Chris Jericho gets is the barbed wire covered 2x4. Gets knocked out of his hands, and then they start climbing for a mop. Well, the 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire is sitting on the ground.
And it doesn't get touched again until almost the end of the match.
Exactly. Made no sense at all. To me, it was, and the fact that it went 26 minutes, I think, and we haven't, Tommy didn't touch on that. The fact that it went 26 minutes, I think, took away from the women's match big time. I think it appeared they had their time cut, and that match ended up looking like shit because I got the feeling that they had to cut a bunch of their planned stuff out of the middle of it.
I guess I was like you. I kind of was caught by the ending because I have not gone back and rewatched it, and before you started talking there, kind of still have a pretty, not great, like super high opinion of the match, but I thought it was pretty good. Maybe I'll have to go back and rewatch it, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, I guess I didn't even notice like the fact that like they had the big destructive weapon with the 2x4, and then they just abandoned it. That is kind of strange.
Yeah.
There were a few good moments in the match aside from the finish, but yeah, I guess I'll have to go back and rewatch that. I kind of went in thinking, that was a good match, but maybe I'll reassess.
Yeah, check it out. Like I said, the finish definitely stuck with me immediately after the match, and then I went back and rewatched it. And the other part is, a big chunk of this feud was structured around the potted plant, which, for God knows what reason, is one of the weapons, but never got used in the match.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have a second killing of a plant. That would just be barbaric.
The psychology of that match just was way off for me. It made no sense in what they were trying to do. And again, rewatching it, it was very different than the first experience. But rewatching it, and maybe it's the cynic in me, I don't know. But I left it feeling like, what the hell did I just waste 26 minutes on?
Yeah, I think, like you said, in the moment, I enjoyed it probably because of the ending. Because does anybody remember when the last time we saw Tax in a WWE ring was?
A long while.
I feel like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Cactus Jack, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Some way back in the Mick Foley Attitude Era days. But did you notice? Dean Ambrose goes to give Chris Jericho the dirty deeds on the Tax, which is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you're throwing yourself back first onto Tax.
How about the fact that you're driving Chris Jericho's face into Tax?
Yeah, right. Close your eyes.
One of those things goes into your eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so now we've talked about. We'll talk about the main event when we get to it. But going just through the matches here, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin in a no disqualifications match.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match.
Which Baron won by punching Ziggler directly in the dick.
Mm-hmm.
The new pre-show stopper.
Yeah.
We call that a Brock Lesnar where I come from.
Big Cass confronted the Dudley Boys.
Big Cass confronted the Dudley Boys. You're all about that.
It's right there on WWE.com.
Andy's favorite part of the show.
It is great.
Leading to that great match that really could have happened on the pre-show but didn't happen on Raw. But when it happened on Raw, we got Enzo Amore back, so that's good.
I will say this about that segment. I thought it was one of Cass's best solo promos.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a good job of that, playing with the crowd.
Just in time for Enzo to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my favorite part about Extreme Rules is that we now no longer have to see the weirdest pay-per-view ad I've ever seen with the two ladies.
Oh, yeah, with the two.
Why? Why is that the Extreme Rules promo? Ladybugs humping. What the fuck?
After dark, Adam. After dark. Extreme.
That was extreme insect fucking.
Extreme humping. It's good.
All right, so we get the
extreme bestiality.
Yes.
Club versus Usos, Texas Tornado match.
Didn't see it. Missed that one. Didn't go back and rewatch it when I realized I'd started the Intercontinental match because I was like, eh.
I thought it was really good.
I loved it.
Really good.
Yeah, I loved it. We talked about it last week. Those two teams have great chemistry together. They've yet to put together a bad match. Whether you can say they've overdone it is another story. But technically, in the ring, they work phenomenally together, and it made
that boot of doom on the outside was fucking brutal.
Yeah, and the ring bell bit at the end was great.
Yes, I thought that was a really creative way to end that match.
My only issue with that was I would have preferred through the storytelling if they beat the Usos down and kept them from coming out later. I thought that would have helped, but obviously changed the dynamic of the main event, so I understand why they did it.
Then we had the United States Championship. Thank God that's over. Kalisto versus Rusev. No stipulation. No stipulation. Why didn't Sin Cara come out with Kalisto?
Didn't Rusev destroy him on SmackDown last week?
I didn't get to watch SmackDown. Maybe that did happen. I don't know. But
I'm pretty sure they did a spot where Rusev just beat the shit out of Sin Cara on SmackDown last week, which is probably why.
Probably. We get the super camel clutch as Rusev bends Kalisto practically in half for the tap-out victory. That was not impressive in the slow-mo replay because you could see that he wasn't bending really that far, but it looked really good. Looked really good live.
Yeah, and the spot where he slams him off the ring apron was just brutal.
Yes.
And, JBL mentions it all the time, and I don't know if some people think this is a work, but that legitimately is the hardest part of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That is just solid steel right under that part of the ring, and it hurts like a bitch. So when you watch Big E do that splash spot on that part of the ring, you cringe. And that was a pretty rough spot he took, and I thought it's
good if you need a chiropractor though.
Like Dr. Sean Meat Stasiak.
Dr. Meat.
Yes, Dr. Meat.
He follows us on Twitter. That's legit. Sean goddamn Stasiak follows us on Twitter.
I heard. When I hear Dr. Meat, though, I think my brain goes other places. I'm sorry.
Where else would Dr. Meat go for his wrestling talk than the Beefcase Network?
Exactly.
I suppose that's... Women's championship match.
I enjoy how much I just enjoy how much you hate that.
Women's championship match. Let's talk about that.
No, that wasn't. That's not what was next.
Oh, sorry.
What was next was the tag team title match. Again,
okay.
No stipulation. That the Vaudevillains should have won, but didn't.
Should they have though?
They should have.
Should they have though?
They should have.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I expected New Day to win, but I picked the Vaudevillains just to kind of throw a little wrench in the plan, because it really makes no sense. They went through that match. They basically, it was because the time was off. It was very short. They destroyed them. For all intents and purposes, like a 5 to 7 minute match. They basically made them look like their bitch, and now they have no legitimate claim to getting another match. So New Day now goes to a spot where they have nobody to feud with, and the Vaudevillains are relegated back to, Connor and Victor territory.
Not necessarily. It depends on how they book it, because there was not a good setup for this tag team match. There wasn't a whole lot. I mean, even the monkey wrench was thrown in. It was supposed to be Big Cass and Enzo fighting against New Day. I mean, that's what it was supposed to be.
No, it wasn't. No, the Vaudevillains were the plan all along. It was supposed to be Enzo and Cass going off with the Dudleys. The Dudleys were supposed to cost them that match at the pay-per-view when Enzo got hurt.
I don't know.
Which is why they had Cass off with the Dudleys to keep that storyline kind of going.
Either way, regardless of what the plans were or weren't, the build-up for the match was not great. I don't think they did what they needed to do to get the Vaudevillains over. Thus, I don't believe the Vaudevillains should have won that match. It wouldn't have made a lot of sense to me personally.
See, I thought the Vaudevillains I've liked them more on the main roster than I liked them in NXT. I think they've done a good job of sort of getting over that they believe in the old school style and they're disgusted with the whole mentality and the jocularity of the New Day, and they did the whole time machine bit, which kind of
was
all
stupid. That was so dumb. That bit was dumb.
I wasn't a huge fan of it myself, but
come on.
No, that was the worst. That was the worst bit the New Day has ever done.
Yeah, Derriere Squares.
No,
but no. The only part that was redeeming about that was the '90s Jamaican Kofi Kingston returning.
That was the only part.
Yes, but it did serve its purpose in that they went out there and mocked the bygone era thing of the Vaudevillains, and the Vaudevillains, took offense to that and beat the shit out of them. I thought it actually served a good purpose in the end in terms of what it wanted to do. I thought the Vaudevillains went into the pay-per-view looking strong. And I thought they basically were made to look like nothing at the event. I have no problem with the New Day winning. I thought they could have made the Vaudevillains look better in losing.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll see where it goes from there.
Then we had the Intercontinental title match, which we've already spoken about. 15.5 rotations, by the way, on the Cesaro swing for
Is
anyone
that the WWE audience count or the actual count?
Oh no, they were in the 20s.
Okay. This is what I put on Twitter. 15.5 for anyone counting correctly.
Okay.
And then we have the Ambrose Asylum, which we already talked about. I just remembered this from my tweets here. Cole has no idea how a straitjacket would be used in a match like this. I don't know. Put your fucking opponent in it and restrict their motion and then pin them. I don't know.
Or go watch any of the straitjacket matches that have occurred in professional wrestling through the years.
Then we got, yes. And then we have the submission match for the Women's Championship. I actually only tweeted 3 times during this match. But yeah, not a bad match, but like you said, it did seem a little bit quick.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's a submission match it's a slow plotted match. If you do a true submission match, it's hard to get a lot of excitement out of it. So I think that part because maybe the time was cut short because of the previous matches, and maybe even part just because they didn't want to risk the match dragging on a bit. And they got some really good offense in. There were some interesting submission holds. I think they did pretty good with what they had.
Yeah, I thought Natty came out looking bad. I thought she came out looking stupid, falling for that distraction bit again. She just repeatedly falls for that. So I don't know if it's them mocking Canadians, which with Vince is entirely possible. I liked the swerve with the Dana Brooke thing, pretending to be Ric
Yeah, me
Flair.
too.
My only problem with it was it should have been Charles Robinson. They pretty much.
That's exactly what I tweeted. I said, ugh. Dana Brooke is even worse when you're expecting Charles Robinson.
Yes, okay, yeah, I could see that argument. Like, I think that would be good. Like, I'd be amused by that. But what purpose does that ultimately serve? Are we trying to put over Robinson, or are we trying to put over an actual female wrestler?
Well, now that you've done the corrupt referee angle with you, if you notice, he's not refereeing matches anymore. So by doing that, you kind of...
because he probably got fired for being a corrupt referee.
Well, you took him out of being a referee now, so you've got nothing to do with him except making him Charlotte's lackey. So in a way, it would have worked. Dana Brooke, obviously, this thing we all know had to have gotten thrown together at the last minute with the Emma injury, because obviously that wasn't the plan. But I do think going forward, and it'll be interesting to see, but I think Dana Brooke makes a good kind of comedic lackey for Charlotte.
I agree.
Dana Brooke can be funny in that role when she wants to be. So.
Right, I agree with you.
I thought the Ric Flair strut was great when she was doing that. So.
No, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I just hate Dana Brooke, so.
That's because you're wrong.
That's because you seem to dislike all the attractive women, Adam.
Yeah, Adam.
Not true at all. Anyway. And then you had your WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, the Extreme Rules match, where anything goes, but pinfalls and submissions have to happen in the ring. AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns.
Now, before we get into this, I know Adam has very strong feelings about the finish to this
He has
match.
very strong feelings, and guess what? He's wrong about that, too.
Absolutely. And Andy, you and I are agreeing on a whole variety of issues
Which
tonight.
is weird, because we never get along or agree on anything wrestling-wise, so this is very strange tonight. This is very strange.
It's true. I'm getting the feels over here.
Yeah, that's great.
Did you see the video I posted for you on the Rundown page, Adam?
Yes.
Okay. The floor is yours, sir.
All I'm saying is that
Wait, what?
given the length of time between the last time AJ got hit with an offensive maneuver, you have the finishing variety, and that one spear that it took to pin him. I don't think it should have taken one spear to let him kick out and eat a Superman punch. Whatever you got to do. I think given how much they said fuck finishers during that match, and had Roman Reigns kick out of 106 Styles clashes, and all that, I think he could have taken. Another finisher.
So you, who I believe in some of our past discussions on the Rundown, have talked about how finisher after finisher after finisher and kicking out of finishers takes away from the reality of the product. Now, one of his finishers finishing him is just unbelievable. How he needs to be speared at least 22 times and run over with a car, and then yes, it'll be believable for AJ Styles to stay down. It was a great match. I want to jump in and say I really like this match. The build up for this particular feud has been great. The like kind of the whole like club versus the family. I like that. I dig that. And it's interesting because you couldn't really tell throughout, like, who was really the face, who was really the heel. I mean, you kind of got the gist of it, but the fans were just eating it up and enjoying the match itself.
Yeah, I thought these two worked great together. I think Roman really benefits from working with a smaller guy. He worked great with Daniel Bryan. I think he worked great with AJ. I think that dynamic of him as the big, strong power guy versus the smaller, undersized, technical guy works really, really well. I thought the match was great. For the record, he took 2 spears, one of which was on the floor with no onto the padding. I thought the execution was great. I will agree with you, Adam, on one thing. I don't like the way they've devalued the Styles Clash. I think that's one of the cooler finishers in wrestling when you're not breaking people's necks with it. They've definitely devalued it. I think he's won 1 match with it, and it's been kicked out of about 6 times.
Man, we got Fort Arminal. What more do you want?
I don't like that.
Does he really even use the calf killer anymore?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Well, he's waiting for his first submission match. But I did not especially like when he hit the Styles Clash on the steel chair. However, they covered it with the Uso coming in and pulling him off and giving them that half a second beat to kind of recover. However, that should take longer than half a second to recover from.
Agreed, 100%.
I did not like that part of it. Are we going to discuss the end, what happened after the match here, or are we doing that separately?
Sure. Of course we are.
Okay.
Because the Quad City's own Seth Rollins comes in, and now we've started another feud, which I am looking forward to.
Seth, my hair is now all Tyler Black Rollins.
Yes,
absolutely. It is not. There's still a slight bit of blonde that hasn't grown out yet. But here's my problem, and I'm thrilled Seth Rollins is back.
Yes.
They returned him and had him act like a goddamn heel.
Oh, it was great.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake. But moreover than any of that, please, WWE, for the love of God, when a guy is coming out after not wrestling on the show to do a 3-second run-in, let him do it in street clothes. Why is Seth Rollins in gear? Please, tell me. Explain that to me.
That's a good question. I think his heel promo on Raw was brilliant.
Oh, no. His heel promo was great, and the way he turned the crowd was great. Seth is a great heel. I just think it's poor booking to have him be a heel.
And
I would agree with you.
The crowd is not going to boo him. And he did say in the promo, "You can boo me, you can cheer me, I don't care." But it was obviously a heel promo. In front of the crowd is not going to boo him, especially against Roman Reigns.
That's not true though. Listen to the ovation he got when he came out versus what happened when he left. He turned that crowd big time against him, which is what he was supposed to do. He did a great job of it.
Yeah.
So they're booing him, but they booed Roman Reigns a whole lot louder.
They did. So now they've booked it so that they want you to buy a pay-per-view featuring 2 guys that people don't like. Good plan.
We'll see. I guess we'll see where they go with it. It is an interesting choice with your WWE champion, who is not a good guy, not a bad guy, but is really a bad guy. I mean, he is at this point. I mean, he is a heel. At least the way that he's been kind of portraying himself. But yeah, it'll be tough. I think the history is what's going to sell that pay-per-view. I think it's going to be the whole idea of what happened with the Shield, that sort of nostalgia and looking back at the story and the connection these 2 guys have. That'll sell it. Or maybe they'll throw in Ambrose somehow.
Yeah, well, that was the main event plan for WrestleMania this year. It was supposed to be that triple threat. So it wouldn't shock me if we end up there at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I would agree.
Plus the fact that, as they said repeatedly, he never lost the title. But I mean, we've been saying since November when he got hurt that when he came back, he would be the biggest face in the company.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not what they decided to do.
Right. Well, and it's compounded by the fact that they're doing a WWE 24 special, I think next week or the week after, highlighting Seth Rollins' road to rehab and all the hard work he put in, and something that would have made him an even fucking bigger babyface when he came back. Had they aired that, then done Extreme Rules, don't have him come out and act like a heel at Extreme Rules, even come out on the stage and look at him and, my belt kind of deal, would have been fine, and then have him come out and do the babyface promo on Raw, he'd have gotten that Triple H level pop on his return. I think they missed a huge opportunity with that because there's too stubborn.
That would have ruined the surprise.
They're too stubborn to turn Reigns heel.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just maybe also they feel like they don't have enough high level heels. I guess at this point, they have a lot of mid card heels. They're pushing kind of AJ Styles as kind of a big face right now.
Yeah.
You've got Dean Ambrose running around as a big face.
Yep.
Maybe they're just trying to balance it a little bit until. You did also get that promo on Raw where Seth was trying to talk to Stephanie and Stephanie kind of shot him down. So maybe you never know. There could be some fluctuation in face heel.
Sure, but here's the thing: like if you do it the way we all think they should have done it, Reigns becomes that big heel. Where he should be, and you can still have that. You still have the same mathematical dynamic in terms of faces and heels, and you've got the better guy for the face role in the face role.
True, but at the same time, if you look at what Rollins said in his promo, though, it is really interesting because, he called it how it actually was. Like, none of you liked me. Like, why do you like me? Like, give me one good reason why you should actually care about me. I'm the guy who was the chicken shit heel. I'm the guy that you guys said shouldn't be the champion. I'm the guy who stole the belt at WrestleMania. I'm the guy who turned my back on broke up the Shield. Like, he just called it a spade's a spade. What did I do to possibly have you like me aside from obviously we know being an absolutely amazing wrestler,
right.
But from a storyline kind of standpoint, it does make sense.
Oh no, it makes
Why
sense.
would someone like him?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And like I said, he did an amazing job with that promo, going out and overcoming in a way that huge face pop that he got, and turning everyone around. That takes a real talent, and he definitely showed it there.
It was also good that he started off by kind of basking in it.
Yeah.
And then going, oh, thank you, fuck all of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it was the wrong choice personally. That's all.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but as we said, the promo itself was masterful.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the pay-per-view. And
the beginning of Raw. We segued nicely there.
We did.
There you go.
Now we have a voicemail to listen to.
Oh Jesus, another one.
With more understanding of Dana Brooke being interjected into the women's title match than Adam will ever have, it is I, Sal, calling you this week to talk a little bit about Extreme Rules, but mostly about Raw. To touch on the Dana Brooke thing, I thought it worked. I knew it was going to be a segue to get rid of her father. Boy, Charlotte cut a hell of a promo last night on her father. It's Charlotte. She's not the best talk in the world. But at the same point in time, I felt it. I thought it was believable. Rick crying made it good. And sure, now Ric Flair is out of the picture, just as everybody has said he should have been 2 months ago. And Charlotte can start a little stable. She's got Dana Brooke watching her back. It's okay that she's taller than Dana. Hell, Ric Flair was taller than Arn Anderson for years, and Arn was his enforcer. So I'm fine with it. Now, moving on, the little nuances that big wrestling creates sometimes. The little nuances like Chris Jericho coming down last night with all the friggin' gouges and bandages on his back and his arms. That was classic. Also, I like the fact that he beat Apollo Crews. Although, if he was going to beat Apollo Crews, then why not have Apollo sell the Sheamus attack when he walked down to the ring?
Yeah, we already talked about that.
That would have made a little bit more sense, because then it's like, oh, well, Apollo got beat because Sheamus beat his ass beforehand.
Yeah, we already talked
Then he no-sold it, and then almost killed himself during the match. But it is what it is.
Sound the force him before he calls in.
Off like you would break up with an ex-girlfriend that you had just recently got back with. That was awkward. Oh, but I want to still be friends. And they were like, no, we're not friends anymore. So, yeah, okay. So that's what AJ's going to end up doing. Although I thought him and Kevin Owens had a fantastic match, I was a little bit surprised that other than AJ falling on the ropes and Kevin Owens kicked the ropes, that AJ pretty much lost clean. But again, and no harm, no foul. Kevin Owens has earned it. And Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Ambrose, Jericho, all of them in the Money in the Bank is going to be amazing. One more person in the Money in the Bank, but I can't remember who the fifth one is.
Alberto Del Rio.
Other than that, obviously Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns is a main event, like you said, WrestleMania worthy. I'm interested to see what their first encounter will be like at Money in the Bank, but I'm really interested in Money in the Bank. You know, anybody who wins that contract is going to get a huge push. Cesaro was the other guy in that match, and hopefully it's Kevin Owens. Hopefully it's Kevin Owens. Also, Red Dragon got killed by cake, and that made that whole segment. Talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, when he says Red Dragon, he's referring to Heath Slater's nickname, not the Ring of Honor tag team.
I was going to say.
I was confused.
Like, did we switch to Ring of Honor for a second there? Yeah, speaking of the cake segment, just briefly, did anyone else hear JBL, when they were threatening to throw the cake at JBL, say, "No, I paid a lot for this hair"?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And that's about the only thing in that segment worthy mentioning. To be honest, 'cause... By the way, so it was the 1200th episode of Raw,
It was
right?
the 1200th episode of Raw.
Somebody needs to explain to the New Day how birthdays work. Because it was not the 1200th birthday of Raw.
Yeah. I commented on that as well. Because the show started in January, so their birthday would be in January.
And I'm pretty sure every week doesn't count as one birthday.
Right.
It's a yearly event.
Yeah. So it sounds like we covered most of Raw already. Anything from Raw that we haven't talked about that maybe he talked about or we haven't discussed? Do you want to talk about?
Well, the Kevin Owens AJ match, I didn't have a problem with the finish. I mean, I know AJ took no punishment the night before except for one spear, but
Zing!
Yeah, AJ took a ridiculous amount of punishment the night before, but I think the storyline purpose that they're trying to go down that road is right before the match, he told the club, "I don't need you," and then went out and lost. So they're going to come back, probably SmackDown, next week's Raw, whenever they're on together again, and say, "Oh, well, without our help, you didn't do so good."
Right, exactly.
That's a pretty easy story to tell right there. I think that's what they were going for. I am personally disappointed. I would have thought AJ would have been great in the Money in the Bank match with that other talent that they have in there, but I'm sure they got something else lined up for him. Like I said, probably a tag team versus Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be good. Adam, anything else from Raw that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. Like I said before, I had to watch it in two parts because I was insanely sick the past couple of days. So nothing sticks out too much that we haven't already spoken of. I agree that the Kevin Owens AJ Styles match was fantastic. I was surprised that it was the main event. Like when it was over and they were doing all the stuff, I'm like, wait, is that it? They're setting it for the podcast, but the podcast is after the. Oh, we're at 11:09. Okay, I guess it's over.
I had so much fun watching 3 hours of this shit.
Well, maybe it's because I watched it in two parts, but
maybe.
And actually, going back to Extreme Rules for a second, I meant to mention this earlier. One of the things I think I really liked about Extreme Rules was no McMahon involvement. It was just the matches and the wrestlers, and that was it. They didn't use Stephanie or Shane at all on the show. Nice touch.
So, speaking of Raw and SmackDown, we've been mentioning the two. Should we get to the big news?
Cody Rhodes?
There's that. We can segue into that. That's not the right segue, but we can go into that. Yeah, I posted, actually, on our Facebook page right after Cody Rhodes made his kind of big statement as to why he left the company. And for those that haven't been following or living under a rock, yes, Cody Rhodes is no longer with WWE. They have parted ways. And he wrote a rather interesting, like, kind of little narrative about his experience in WWE as of late and why he no longer felt like this was a place that he necessarily wanted to be. And some interesting little bits in there, especially taking some jabs at some of the writers, which I found kind of interesting.
Yeah, we won't read the whole statement because it's long, but you can check it out on Cody's Twitter or on our Twitter or our Facebook.
Or anywhere else on the internet that covers wrestling.
Right.
It is a long statement, though. I know there is a differing opinion amongst the two other people in this chat room on the legitimacy of this whole thing. We also have Eden Styles asked for her release and was released. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday. And that actually convinces me even more. No, it's a very small thing, but I'll tell you why. first off, I'm for those who aren't aware, I'm the one who thinks this whole thing is a work, and Cody's still going to be coming back as Cody at some point. I don't know this for sure. This is entire speculation, but
it's perfect for the rundown.
Yeah. Cody has a history of using social media to work the fans. He's been doing it since he took the Stardust moniker on. If you know you're doing a roster split, Cody's a guy you want because he's a guy that can go to that secondary brand and kind of elevate his status. So that would make a ton of sense for him to be there. To let him go right before that doesn't compute to me. But over and above all that, you notice in that statement, he takes great pains to put over Vince McMahon and Triple H for how great they are, but then takes shots at the writers, who we don't know, don't see, and don't give a shit if he insults. To me, that's a classic tool that they use to blame somebody who you're never going to see on TV so that they can come back later angry. It reeks to me of that old Matt Hardy and Edge bit where Matt Hardy got released, then came back a few months later to beat the shit out of Edge, jumping him from behind. Now, why Eden's release comes into play for me specifically is if you go back and read the WWE's announcement of Eden's release, they make great pains and specifically point out in the release that WWE's come to terms on the release of Eden Styles, and in parentheses, Cody Rhodes' wife. I've never seen them do that before. When they released AJ Lee, they didn't say CM Punk's wife.
Well, that's a different story. At that point, they don't want to admit that CM Punk is a living human being, you know.
Well, why would they want to admit Cody is? They just released him and he shit all over the company in his
He
thing.
didn't shit all over the company. Like, as you saw, he didn't necessarily say bad things about every aspect of the company. And maybe he's saying nice things about the McMahons because hopefully, maybe if things change, he might eventually want to try to get a job back. I don't know.
And on her Twitter, she makes reference to she's got this other opportunity that came up, and this comes on the heels of a week or two ago where the internet somehow got a hold of an unreleased promo, which is, to the best of my knowledge, never happened from the WWE, an unreleased test promo for Cody Rhodes and Eden doing Rhodes Industries as if it's a separate company. So I'm wondering if maybe this other opportunity she's talking about has to do with something to do with Rhodes Industries.
I don't buy. I don't buy into little things like that. But I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible. You make a convincing argument, but I just think for now, at least, we're not gonna see Cody either way, whether it's a work or not, for a while.
Yeah, it'll be a while before he comes back. The trick is going to be, does he show up somewhere else? Obviously, he shows up in TNA, all bets are off. It's if he works a couple indies, smaller indies here or there, that like Evolve. If he shows up in Evolve, that means nothing. They have a working agreement together, and it could just be done to sell the point at that point. But I do think everything that I see here leads me to believe this is a work.
Okay, Adam.
I'm intrigued either way. I'm just kind of sad that Cody Rhodes is going away for a while. If he doesn't come back, that'll be even sadder. I do enjoy the part in his little manifesto where he calls the Stardust gimmick making chicken salad out of chicken shit. Because he did make it work. God damn, did he make it work?
It's true.
Even when they saddled him with the Ascension after doing nothing with the Ascension forever. And also, of course, Stephen Amell. But, you know.
Hey, that Stephen Amell match was awesome. Don't diss on that. I enjoyed that feud. It was fantastic.
Well, and then they seemed to restart it with speculation that there was going to be something at WrestleMania. Some Comic-Con Cody showed up as Stardust and poured water.
Threatening to melt his Slammy and then donating money to charity or something.
And fucking did nothing with it. It didn't go anywhere. And that's kind of been the trademark of the Stardust run for Cody is we start these things, we start these angles and go nowhere with them and then drop them. Happened with the Ascension. It happened with the Stephen Amell bit. It happened with, there was another angle they started with them as Stardust and just dropped out of nowhere. The Neville one, it's kind of the hallmark. And if there's no consistency, no one's going to give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Before we get to the big thing, There is a couple of smaller
I don't think we can show that on Google Hangouts there, Adam.
Watching you.
But maybe for the 250th episode, I will grace you.
We're not having a dick off on the 250th episode. A couple of notes. One about Money in the Bank, one about something we've kind of talked about in the past. First off, there are rumors flying around.
Whoa.
That at Money in the Bank, there will be a women's Money in the Bank match.
Whoa.
Gee, where have I heard that on this show before?
Well, look, we all know that Triple H listens, and we all know that Michael Cole listens.
I told you I was going to call Shane.
Santino listens, but he got fired. You know.
Yeah, he has no sway anymore. You
Dr.
think
Meat
meat has any sway? Yeah.
My meat has a lot of sway.
Go
ahead, Adam.
Adam, are you alive? Did you keel over thinking about that? Is that?
I'm just enjoying watching your gerbil running his wheel there.
Oh yeah, he does that. He does that. He's like actually staring at me right now. It's actually kind of creepy.
So yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting. Would they have a smaller, pinker briefcase, or would it look exactly the same as the?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a clutch bag. It's a clutch bag. It's a Money in the Bank
it's like
clutch.
Yes. So it's a little, I don't know what it is, but it's maybe. I hope they do it. That'd be cool. I'd be for that. It'd be an interesting match.
It would be. I mean, you figure you probably need at least 6 people. So who do you go with? Obviously you got Becky. You've obviously got Sasha. You could put Dana Brooke in there.
You got Paige.
Paige would go in there, obviously, if she's not
Natty.
too busy banging Alberto Del Rio. Natty is 5, so then you really only need a 6th, and Eva Marie's available, so...
No.
Hey,
don't put her anywhere near.
Somebody's got to take the bump that kills them.
Oh.
Break out the polka dot ladder.
But we may not have Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks being evaluated...
Thanks, referee.
Yeah, right. What a freak accident. Being evaluated this week for a concussion suffered during a 6-woman match at the May 15th house show when a referee by the name of Derek Moore, write that down, internet, accidentally kneed her in the head.
What?
It's probably a goddamn ginger, too. You can't trust those ginger referees.
Oh.
It is expected that she will pass the evaluation and be cleared to return to the ring. But she did suffer some form of concussion. We had speculated last week that the reason that she was being kept off television was to kind of keep things quiet on the her versus Charlotte front, but it turns out she got kneed in the head by a referee.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yes and no. This happened I think a week and a half ago. She's been kept off TV pretty much since WrestleMania.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, true.
There's a fine line between keeping somebody off TV to keep a storyline fresh and completely cooling off one of the hottest people in your division. I think they're really kind of crossing that line at this point if she doesn't get back and do something at some point very, very soon.
Yeah. So the site, the report does reiterate, that's the word, previous reports that WWE is trying to keep minor injuries quiet, saying that they're doing it to prevent the fan base from freaking out when the news hits, because if there's one thing the internet never does, it's freak out over tiny bullshit.
No. The internet also doesn't love cat videos.
By the way, can I throw in a quick aside here? I know you got other stuff you want to get
That's
to.
what we do. That's what we do on this show.
I saw this week, and it drove me goddamn fucking crazy. I tend to go down the rabbit hole on the internet sometimes with these Facebook groups regarding wrestling.
First you start there, and you end up on Pornhub, and you don't know how you got there, and it's a crazy rabbit hole.
No, I start at Pornhub, and then
then you make your way to wrestling. Okay, got it.
Once I'm done on Pornhub, then I go looking for something else to cover.
Okay, got it.
So one of the things I wrote, somebody was shitting all over Roman and how AJ had carried him through that match, which, first of all, is horseshit. You don't carry someone to a quality match like that. That's both people working together at a high level. But the part that really got to me is, Roman sucks. This guy hasn't paid his dues. So here's my thing. Wrestling fans, I appreciate the passion. I get that you're strong. You have strong feelings and that you love the business. If your bump card is empty, you don't get to comment on what dues anyone has paid. That's a horseshit, bullshit thing to do. I've worked in the business for 15 years, and I'm not going to comment on what dues someone else has paid. That's for the boys in the locker room to decide. And if they're cool with Roman's dues being paid, then you should shut the fuck up about it. All right, rant over.
Boom, bitches.
I think, Adam, you're one of those he just bitched at. But anyway.
No, Adam's never talked about anyone's dues.
I've never talked about anyone's dues.
Only at the hair salon. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, I don't know. Big news!
One more sidetrack. Then we'll get to this. Then we'll get to that.
I don't have anyone else's podcast to pump this week, so
I've got a podcast to produce, so let's move it along. Move these tracks along, Adam. It's a great podcast too. It's you're going to be on it. It's the next Shadow Vein episode. But anyway, carry on.
Beef guys.
Murder.
According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, things are slow as far as TNA getting an influx of cash. Surprise. They've been trying to re-sign top talent with new deals, but the newsletter says that none of the key talents have signed these deals. The company is doing the Slammiversary pay-per-view on June 12th, and then we'll have tapings on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. On the 13th, they'll tape a one-night-only pay-per-view as well as matches for Explosion. On the 14th, they'll tape 2 episodes of Impact, including the one that airs on the 14th, and then tape 2 more episodes on the 15th. The original plan was also to tape on the 16th and 17th, which would have secured content through the beginning of August, but those tapings were canceled, probably because they didn't have enough money to run those 2 days.
Wah, wah.
First off, they're drastically screwing up their taping schedule. They need to get the people who run Lucha Underground, because they've already taped that shit into next year.
Yeah, right?
Holy balls.
Yeah.
Pay for most of the talent and everyone in production is by appearance, and it allows them to cut the non-transportation budget by about 33%. In the short term, they do save that money. In the long term, it will cost more because they'll have to rent the venue again, plus the travel again. But because now they have to schedule a taping in July that they wouldn't have needed if they'd taped on the 16th and 17th of June.
Huh.
Or, and I'm just going to spitball
Is this cutting off your nose to spite your face?
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there. Maybe they do a thing at Slammiversary where somebody wins the title in an unhealthy fashion or an unfair fashion. They get stripped of the title. Then you do a bullshit 64-man, 75-week tournament.
Yeah, like the Rundown Showdown.
Full of matches that you taped for Explosion that were never meant to air, and you make that into a tournament.
Yeah.
Creative idea.
Promoting people who are no longer with the company.
Yeah, a guy who is just
Tonight
on
it's
NXT.
AJ Styles versus Eric Young. First round qualifying match.
They're pushing the AJ Styles DVD on every TNA episode. Seriously.
Well, of course. Why not cash in?
Well, I guess. They also are the only Hall of Fame where every member is still an active competitor.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, Sting's not anymore. But
I was going to say, does Earl Hebner count as a competitor?
He doesn't count as a Hall of Famer either. It might be.
Yeah.
I never got over him screwing Hogan over. But.
How can there be 2 Dave Hebners?
And he screwed Brett. He's got a history. I'm just saying.
No, hey, Brett screwed Brett, all right?
That's true.
How many times do we have to tell you?
There's a documentary I stumbled upon this week on YouTube, and I forget the name of it. But
Is it called Wrestling with Shadows?
Yeah,
no, it was not.
That's an awful documentary.
It was not. It was actually a bunch of cut-together segments of people discussing Bret Hart and talking about what an incredible fucking asshole the guy was to work with behind the scenes.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome to watch.
I will post a link so you guys can check it out, but it was great.
Sounds awesome.
I might have to enjoy that. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking of him at Payback just looking like he would rather be any fucking where else.
Well, again, to that point, they were about to redo the screw job right in front of him. I can't imagine. I'd be thrilled at that.
I'm just picturing him in that interview going, "No, I had a really fucking great job." Who the fuck is calling?
Whoa,
me?
what's going on there?
I don't even.
Someone's invites are blowing up. It must be because I'm on the Shadow Vein account. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
And while we're discussing Bret Hart and screwjob finishes, can we just point out that this year's Survivor Series back in Canada? Who's getting screwed this time? Come on.
Oh, nice.
You know they're doing the finish.
God, I hope not. Good times.
That's something we have to get over when we're on Google Voice, is if we're recording the show and someone calls while we're recording the show, it rings into my fucking ears.
Nice.
All right.
Is that Tommy leaving another voicemail about the show?
It might be. I don't know.
Probably true. So, the big news, Adam.
The big news, which reminds
so this week on Lucha Underground,
reminds me. We'll get to that in a second. We do have another voicemail to listen to, but we'll get to that in a second about this. It was reported today.
Breaking news. This is a Rundown exclusive, folks. A Rundown exclusive.
Via the WWE app. And
Whoa!
WWE.com. That starting July 19th at, Jason, you said it's in Worcester?
Worcester, yep.
Cool.
Bought my tickets today and still got floor seats. I don't think that would have been the case once this announcement went out.
You're quick on the dial there. Starting Tuesday night, July 19th, SmackDown will air live every Tuesday on the USA Network, which means that this show may have to move to Thursday. We'll see what happens.
But that's not the biggest news.
No. It means the show will go head-to-head with Impact during the night.
No, it won't. That means his Impact will be moving again.
Yeah.
They've got to be sitting there going, fuck the WWE, because if you remember, they were originally on Thursdays when SmackDown was on Friday. SmackDown moved to Thursday, so Impact moved to Wednesday. The WWE moved NXT to Wednesday, so TNA moved to Tuesday, and now WWE is moving back to Tuesday. So
they'll move Impact back to Thursday, and they'll be fine.
Because, the network's just got nothing else going on that they need to add on Thursday. Okay, that's just Pop TV,
I'm just going back to that whole Hogan Bischoff. We're gonna have another Monday Night War thing.
Oh God.
You mean the moment TNA died?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The moment when they showed pre-tape of Hogan and Bischoff riding in a limousine to the arena, and then Hogan comes out and says, "I've been in the back with the boys all day, brother."
But I was talking about
you were in a limousine.
I was talking about their first night out on the show when they basically took away everything that made TNA interesting or exciting. They took away the six-sided ring. They took away basically the knockouts because they made them all eye candy and took away the in-ring aspect.
Hogan comes out as the new owner that everyone's supposed to love and cuts a heel promo on Jeff Jarrett, who founded the goddamn company.
Yeah, the whole thing was a shit show.
Totally shit show.
So SmackDown.
Yes. The debut of a live SmackDown comes as two of the WWE's biggest attractions, John Cena and Seth Rollins, are returning to competition from injuries. Speaking of which, this was your last Cena-free week from Monday Night Raw, so enjoy that.
When you said their two biggest attractions, I thought you meant Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow.
I miss Team Rhodes Scholar. And the company is expected to create strong points of differentiation between SmackDown and USA's other live program, Monday Night Raw. According to the WWE, a draft will be held before the SmackDown launch date to determine which wrestlers on the company's talent roster will be assigned to which program.
A draft is imminent.
Imminent. Each show is expected to feature separate cast, plots, and writing teams. So we're going back to the brand extension, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Kermit Flail. I think on this show we've been looking forward to this for quite a while.
Well, some of us have. Troy was not a big fan, as I recall. But he's not on the show, so fuck that guy.
But there are also reports that we're going back to 2 world championships.
Good.
And I don't know why that has to happen.
No, I don't think that needs to happen.
That absolutely needs to happen, and I'll tell you exactly why. First off, you don't want to have one champion in 2 storylines with 2 different guys on 2 different shows. You can't go an entire month and a half without the champion appearing on your show. And they don't want to submit the guy to a travel schedule where he's bouncing around from show to show. Also, you're going to be running separate branded house shows, and you can't have a separate branded house show loop that has no World Heavyweight Championship match on it for an extended period of time.
Brock Lesnar.
No. But Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's a bit of a different story, and that was
mic drop.
Yeah. That's a bit different when you're talking about a guy that caliber, or The Rock. You could do too. You could say the same thing. They don't have that caliber of guy, and those are only done typically in short-term situations, not for an extended period of time.
I don't know. I think that I get what you're saying. At the same time, I feel like they could have different top-tier guys on each show looking for that next title shot. They could bounce back and forth. Yeah, they could have Roman Reigns or whoever the champion is show up from time to time. But be on one show or the other. I guess it depends on how they're going to brand this. Are they going to brand it like they did before, where SmackDown was kind of the B show? I mean, it had like a lot of the up and comers. It had like the ones that weren't necessarily always a top tier, with a few top tier guys kind of sprinkled in. Or are they going to do this where they legitimately try to push them as equals in a way?
Well, I think with SmackDown going live this time and being live every Tuesday, I think they are at least in the beginning going to have them as or try to have them as equal product.
Yeah, and when people say SmackDown was the B show, to a degree that's accurate. However, what people forget, people remember the end of the brand extension and what SmackDown was like at the end. What people forget was at the beginning of the brand extension, when Paul Heyman was entirely running SmackDown, they were beating Raw in ratings most weeks. So it can definitely be done with the right creative staff and the right talent.
It could. Do you think that having a 2-hour show compared to a 3-hour show is going to change the perception that one show is more important than the other, though? Or do you think that this may potentially, and it's not going to happen, I know, unfortunately, because advertising and all that, could they drop Raw back down to a 2-hour show?
I wish they would.
If only.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but I think the 2-hour thing might run more people to SmackDown as Adam picks his nose. So, did you get it?
I had an itch. With that said, apparently we just got a voicemail, so we have 2 voicemails now to talk about this.
What?
So let's do this one.
What is this bullshit? God, they're just doing it on purpose to keep me here and away from my wildly successful podcast, the Shadow Vein Podcast.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Who got 375 downloads last week in one day.
Time traveler Adam.
What the fuck?
Is another time traveler, Chet Cottonwood. I have before me the results of the WWE draft, live for you and all of your listeners. Now, there was a coin toss that occurred, and SmackDown got the first pick. You will not believe who SmackDown picked.
Eva Marie.
The Rock. That's right. The People's Champion. Raw then had the next pick, and they chose
Eva Marie.
Undertaker. Amazing first 2 picks in this draft. It gets even better. SmackDown's next pick, Kurt Angle. After that, Raw picked the NWO. All 3 members. Doesn't seem very fair, but that's the way it was. Oh, I'm getting word here. Wait. This is the 2002 draft. I'm sorry. Let me try to go a little bit further in the future, and I will try to get you the results. More to come.
Wait, Adam.
Thank you, Chet.
No, wasn't that future Adam? Is that what they said?
No, he said fellow time traveler.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought he said it was.
His name
Adam.
was.
His name was. Not anything
Chet.
like you.
His name was Chet Cottonwood.
Who the fuck is Chet Cottonwood?
He's a time traveler. Obviously. Weren't you listening? Obviously not.
No, I don't understand what's going on. I'm really lost in the story here. I don't know what's going on. So what's the second one? Is it Chet again? What does this show fucking become?
Gentlemen, moments ago, it was announced by the WWE that SmackDown will go live.
Oh my God! Behind once again.
And no more pre-recorded SmackDowns.
Wait, did he just leave this?
And hints of a new roster for each brand.
Okay, good. At least he didn't just leave it.
Now,
moments
we have
ago,
yet to announce the draft date.
this morning.
But assuming that we do have new SmackDown and Raw separate rosters, the brand split that has been speculated for at least 5-6 months is finally coming to fruition. Gentlemen, I pose to you this question.
Is there a bit where
If Adam was in charge of Raw and Jason was the GM of SmackDown, who would be your top 3 draft picks and why?
Wait, who did he say was in charge of SmackDown?
He put Adam in front of Raw and me in charge of SmackDown. He probably assumed you weren't going to be on the show this week.
Who the fuck am I? Chopped liver? Okay, I get ECW.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny that you mentioned that because we actually had the same idea in our hostly group text that we have, and are planning on doing a special episode for that exact purpose, hosting basically a fantasy draft. We'll have
That's okay.
depending on
Troy and I will be together, and Trandy will live again.
assuming
and...
that everyone's available at the same time on the same day, because it's not going to be a regular Wednesday show.
You guys might want to come up with a nickname that's not so close to tranny.
Hey! It's the 21st century. It's all good.
I suggested Android, and they didn't go for that. So
I kind of like Android a little bit.
Yeah, you guys might have a hard time using a bathroom with the name Trandy.
Well, at least in 11 states we're going to have trouble. I mean, Texas being one of them right now. So, yeah, it's topical. So
Trandy versus some portmanteau of Jason and Raccoon Reigns. If we can get everybody in the same room at the same time.
And oh my God, that'll be a 20-hour episode. Jesus.
It'll just be the draft.
You promise?
Be a special episode, just the draft.
Okay, if it's just a draft, then that's fine.
Yeah. Then we'll have the normal episode later in the week, so we don't have any excuse to get sidetracked.
There you go.
Of course not.
Never.
This is a sidetrack-free zone.
Completely, 100%.
We never get off topic.
Oh, by the way, on another subject.
Porn? We're going to talk about porn now?
Is that on the table?
I don't have time for this. So,
it is now.
Hey,
a wealth of insight on that topic.
Hey, Adam.
Andrew.
That does it?
I don't think we really have touched on much of the brand split at this point.
Oh, have we not? Okay, sorry. I guess we haven't.
We talked about the heavyweight championships, but
Andy doesn't come on this show for like 18 weeks. And then he is so desperate for the show to end.
It's like been an hour and 14 minutes. But I've been herding cats all day. So yeah, good. Brand split. Go for it.
In regards to why we need to have a second heavyweight championship as well, part of what made the original brand split work with that second title is that it gave you a place where Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and Edge could be heavyweight champions.
True.
And I think that helped legitimize them and later made them legitimate main eventers on.
Let's not talk about Rey Mysterio as a world heavyweight champion.
He reinvented a WrestleMania. How many main events? How many WrestleManias have you main evented, Adam?
Garbage.
Then fuck yourself, okay? No, but I think that's where a second heavyweight championship that a guy, because I very easily see Roman and Seth feuding on Raw for that heavyweight championship, while AJ and Kevin Owens on SmackDown for that heavyweight championship, and both brands are stronger for it.
I'm fine with two world championships, but when this brand split ends, they need to unify them immediately.
I will. It does strike me as interesting, and I think I posted it on the thread a couple months back. WWE.com posted this expansive photo shoot of current wrestlers holding the classic championship belts.
Yeah, I remember that.
How great would it be if you go to the SmackDown brand, you send the Intercontinental title over there and bring the Winged Eagle Heavyweight Championship and the old tag team titles and the old women's title, and that's where the classic belts live on SmackDown and the new belts live on Raw.
A nice throwback.
It'd be a good throwback.
I think that would be
the only thing I remember from that photo shoot is Eva Marie holding the women's championship and just being like, no, never, ever.
Hey,
ever.
I'm just saying.
Ever.
I'm just saying on that belt, the word "woman's" is written in red.
Ever.
No.
All right.
You do wonder how they would break down the women on a roster split like that, though, in terms of the talent.
Well,
wrestlers.
You could do this. Well, I don't know, though. I mean, you have two options. I mean, you could try to actually have more exposure for the women's division, like on two shows. Mm-hmm. But they are doing, and I don't know what this is accounting to because I just saw it only briefly mentioned on the WWE Network. They're doing a cruiserweight search of some sort or tournament or something.
The Cruiserweight Classic. It's
further proof that Andy doesn't listen to the show when he's not on it. Because we've only talked about it like.
It's a collection of some of the finer cruiserweight wrestlers, even guys not under contract, which is what makes it really interesting, I think, to the IWC. But guys like Zack Sabre Jr. are in it, and some of the names are escaping me. Rumors that what Cedric Alexander from Ring of Honor is going to be in there.
Well, what they could do is, instead of splitting the women, you could have the women on Raw and actually, with a 3-hour show and a smaller roster, show more women's matches. Yep. And then on SmackDown, you could do you could have almost like rebuilding of a cruiserweight division because you have a smaller roster, and you might maybe it'd be like, I don't want to use the term special attraction, but like, I mean, something that's not heavyweight male wrestling. You could have that as and that was kind of the draw of WCW in the day as a counterpoint to Raw.
Yep.
So why not do that on SmackDown?
I get what you're saying there. I think there is an element of the audience, and particularly in some cases young girls, that tune into the shows to watch the women's wrestling, and I don't think you want to leave one of the shows completely bereft of women's wrestling.
Fair enough.
Makes sense. And I can see that title floating between the shows.
So you want Eva Marie on both shows, is what you're saying? And Andy, also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but once the Cruiserweight Classic is finished up, there's rumors that they're going to do a similar tournament with women from around the Indies.
That's kind of cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
Neat.
And Velvet Sky's looking for a job, so
yeah,
there you go. There you go.
Come on, Bubba, do your thing.
Pretty sure he's already done his thing on her.
Hey. There may still be tickets available for the Cruiserweight Classic. I don't know if you guys saw the poster. It's in the Full Sail Arena, same as NXT, but they're actually doing a different setup. They're doing more of a.
Are they doing it all in one day?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's a 4-day.
It's a 4 or 5 day thing.
It's going to be aired. It's going to be aired almost like a series, a television series.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many wrestlers involved? Do you know? Do we know
They haven't given a number yet. They're doing
128.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
They haven't given a number. They're actually doing qualifying matches in places like RPW and Evolve and outside of the WWE, which is interesting too.
That's really interesting.
I'm really looking forward to this. But the seating setup is kind of reminiscent of old school house shows or an old school Raw, where it's the corner entrance and the corner aisle, and then the seats are all around the ring. I think it's cool. See, to give it the same arena but a different feel from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. So tickets are cheap too. I think it's $15 for the general admission, $20 for the ringside section.
And honestly, I'm shocked. Anything at Full Sail that they've done NXT related, I mean, you can't get tickets for, even on the secondary market. Those things sell out the second they go on sale. So,
like I said, I don't know if there's still tickets available, but it's maybe worth a shot if you're in the Orlando area.
There are, however, still tickets available for the first episode of the live SmackDown run in Worcester.
So there you go.
All right. Anything else to add, Edo?
I don't believe so.
Of course you don't have anything.
I'm out. I've tapped out. I watched the product for you, Adam. I showed up. I'm here for Will. So Will, you can suck a dick. And there's the first. There's the first blow. And now we can restart our rivalry, and it'll all be good.
There you go. Well, it's hard to follow up with telling Will to suck a dick, but NXT, we're shaping up. We started to shape the next TakeOver card. For those who don't know, last week they announced Finn Balor and Samoa Joe main eventing one more time, but this time, first time in NXT, steel cage match. So that should be exciting.
Nice.
For the record, there will be no weapons around the cage, so no potted plants will come into play.
Oh, it's a shame.
No, and it may very well, being that it's at Full Sail, may very well be Finn Balor's kind of NXT swan song, especially if he loses before he goes up to the main roster, so that'd be good. Spoiler alert, Nia Jax becomes the #1 contender. She's going to face Asuka for the Women's Championship, which I think is going to be a step down from Bayley and Asuka, but we'll see. I'm not a huge Nia Jax fan. But certainly less momentum for this card than they had in Dallas. But speaking of the card they had in Dallas, they're going to be doing a rematch from Dallas of the tag team titles, American Alpha versus Dash and Dawson, the Revival. No stipulations added to this point, so it's just going to be another straight rematch between the two teams.
All right.
I think that's all they've gotten to so far.
Which one's Dash?
And the match that's going to have the IWC creaming in their collective pants, Austin Aries and Shinsuke Nakamura, which is going to be probably worth the price of admission.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Now, Adam told us last week it was like TakeOver Dallas was the first time you had seen Nakamura in action, right?
That may not be true. I may have seen him on an episode of Ring of Honor over the summer sometime. But
So what are your impressions now that you've gotten a couple looks at him?
he's real good at kicking people in the face.
But the thing to me that impresses me about him the most, and I think I was worried, and I said on this show I thought it was weird that they were sending him down to NXT given how much they're paying him. But watching him now on NXT, I realized how brilliant that was, because debuting him in front of that smart crowd that's going to pop like crazy for him, and by extension introduce him to the main roster fans is great, because if you just brought him up to the main roster, a lot of that crowd will have no idea who he is, and he won't get nearly the same reaction.
Sure.
And he's kind of learning how to do the TV, how to work with the cameras that they use in WWE and things like that, and work hard cam and all that stuff that I don't know that they focus that much on in Japan. But this guy is legit. Having been there for a live event, the atmosphere when he enters the arena is off the charts. And he does that all without saying a word. It's just that natural charisma that you can't teach.
His theme song is fucking awesome too.
It's great.
I love that theme song.
Yeah, it's tremendous. And the prospect of some of the matches, him versus Joe, we're going to see him versus Aries. I think that'll be great. Him versus the Drifter. I was joking about the Drifter. Him versus whatever WWE guys they send down to NXT.
Okay.
Word.
I'm just trying to come up with new topics to keep Andy from leaving.
Oh, you know.
That does it for the rundown for this
Wednesday,
May 25th, 2016.
Don't get too excited. He's got 20 minutes of closing stuff.
It's true. No, it's going to be 30 because I'm here to chastise him the whole time.
276 days since the New Day won the WWE Tag Team Championship. Go to audibletrial.com/rundown for a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial.
Be the first person to do that.
Yes, exactly. Asshole. Atlantic Pro Wrestling returns Saturday. That one's passed already. When's the next one?
Which one's that? Is that the one with the Elks?
Sunday, July 31st, Yankee Homecoming. Free show.
Elkamania? Running well?
I gotta move that one down. No, that one's not till September, probably.
Oh, okay.
Lucky Pro Wrestling presents Uprising at the Elks Lodge in Maynard, Massachusetts on Saturday,
You
June
say
25th.
SCW names are dumb. That was... Whoa.
Liberty States returns in October. Blah, blah, blah.
And shout out to the new Lucky Pro Heavyweight Champion, Adam.
Oh, Bobby No Pants?
Did you forget who won the championship, Adam?
It's Bobby No Pants.
I thought you were talking about APW for a second. I heard LPW.
He
said
beat
LPW. I heard APW.
Jimmy No Shirt.
Lucky Pro is one of the local guys, one of the young guys, won his first heavyweight championship, and I'll give him a little shout out.
Yeah, the selfie-made man, Vern Vicalo.
Yes, tremendous young competitor.
It was a hell of a shot too.
He's not as good as Charles No Cumberbun. You know, it's that's good.
Somebody's bitter that the independent wrestling scene in the Midwest is not nearly as good as it is.
What? I don't know anything about that. Like the fact that someone from our local one that I commentated his matches as the world champion, one of the biggest guys on Raw. But anyway, I'm just saying.
You commentated a Roman Reigns match?
Oh yeah.
Hey, we could compare that list if you want to go through guys in the WWE. Andy.
Hey. I call the match for Doink the Clown, all right? Doink the Clown. Anyway, moving on.
Some schmo in a Doink costume.
So has everybody who has the $50
It's true.
costume.
It's true.
Captain, I really want this show to end so I can do other things, and I won't.
Wait, sorry. There's a Twitter, there's a Facebook. You can follow the show with like 3 other people. You could follow all the stuff on Podomatic. We're done. Bada bing, bada boom.
Check me out at Stump Trivia every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. at the Port Tavern in Newburyport, Massachusetts. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast. You're not calling me that.
I almost got the chant going the other night.
Thankfully, I didn't notice. Live tweet Raw, live tweet other things. Send us an email to rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail like Sal or Chet. This is a different Chet. This wasn't Chet Wingstead. This was Chet Cottonwood. At 617-863-6967. 61 Rundown 7.
Angst.
That's how long it's been since Andy's been on the show.
Exactly.
Like us on Facebook. Tell your parents and your grandparents to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling. To make a donation of the monetary variety, go to rundown.podomatic.com and click the PayPal donate button on the right-hand side of the page. This show costs me $10 a month, so if you want to help out with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be great. Or
Watch archived episodes at youtube.com/rundownpodcast and circle me on Google Plus at google.com/+AdamRundownHost.
Does anyone still use Google Plus anymore?
No.
We do for this. Feeling constipated? Loosen yourself up at tinyurl.com/distant horizons. Chasing distant horizons. It's poetry.
For your asshole.
And you can also check out some of our amazing other sister podcasts.
On the
you can
Beefcase Network.
On the network, and it is you can go check out the Shadow Vein podcast, shadowvein.net. Brand new episode of Poetry coming out in the next couple of days, and we'll see how many downloads we get on that new episode of Poetry, and see if the rundown can make that in a year. And then we've got also Tuning Japanese at tuningjapanese.com, where myself
I know you don't
and
know, but you're such a dick about it.
and former rundown host Josh, who I believe was fired, and Bill, we do talk about Japanese anime. We are currently reviewing Excel Saga, which Adam does know, so maybe we can bring Adam on for a guest host at some point.
Hey, the Yankees lost.
Hey.
Now, does
That was
Andy
good.
actually watch the Japanese anime before he comments on it, or it's like Raw where he doesn't watch the show?
No. We watch.
Okay.
We do. We watch it, and it's not just like, and then we think this happens. No, it's pretty good. It's a good show.
And if you're interested in either one of those shows, you can go to facebook.com, Beefcase Productions. All the links are right there on the page.
Yeah, that's a thing that exists, maybe.
There's also the Raw Attitude podcast featuring my good friend Henry Hugepex, the suplex-throwing human duplex.
Who I believe, Adam, both you and I have been a host on that their podcast.
Indeed.
Sorry about you, sir.
Also
Sorry
part
about
of
you,
the
Jason.
Huh?
What?
Sure. Search for us on iTunes under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast over to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00. If you cannot afford a monetary donation, leave us a 5-star review because that helps other people find us. If you leave your name in a text review, we'll read your name and your review at the end of a future episode. We are also available on Stitcher, which is also free. Thanks.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, get your shit in. Get your shit.
UFO Wrestling presents a benefit for Children's Hospital June 11th at the Tewksbury Elks Lodge, Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Great cause, great event every year. We have a main event got announced this week. Kingpin Brian Malone is going to defend the UFO Heavyweight Championship against Aaron Amadeus in basically just a fight. They're not even going to be a wrestling match. These two guys are going to tear each other apart, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Shouldn't that be in Roswell?
Huh?
Shouldn't that be in Roswell? UFO? Anyway, sorry.
Maybe I'll live cast it on the Beefcase Network right next to the Shadow Vein podcast. Also, on a personal note, the 2016 Marfans Foundation Walk for Victory. I am walking along with my family in honor of my son, my 6-year-old son Jackson, who is diagnosed with Marfans. We are walking to raise money, to raise awareness, to increase treatments, all those tremendous things, and just announced today that if we end up in the top 3 donor fundraisers, my son will get to participate in the opening game ceremonies for one of the Red Sox games in August. So that would be an awesome thing for us to get to do for him. If you can spare any amount, large or small, dollars to cents to $20, whatever you can do. There is a link on the Rundown Facebook page. Please click on it, and any help you can give us is awesome and appreciated. Thank you.
Word. Jackson did a very good job being the guest timekeeper at APW this week.
Yes, he did, and he finally forgave Adam. So
yes. I got a fist bump and everything.
There you go.
Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening.
I'd be remiss if I did not mention you brought up the APW show. Thank you tremendously to the APW staff and fans. Combined, we raised $200 at that show for the walk.
Nice.
And I just want to send out my deepest thank you to everybody who contributed that night.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks to nobody on the side, even though we had one viewer at one point. Thanks to Jason.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Suck a dick, Will. I don't know who Will is. He's probably a really nice guy.
Oh yeah, he is. We kissed and made up, but Just got to get that heat going.
And thanks to iFightDragons at ifightdragons.com for the theme song. Next week, who knows? We may have a special episode in between with a little bit of fantasy draft lottery situation going on. If we can work out the logistics on that. I mean, it is...
little drafttion, if you will.
I won't. Thank you. It is Memorial Day weekend after all. So with that, Andy's got more important shit to do than this.
Hey, I'll be back in either this next episode or the one after, and I'll be on a little bit more often. So if you have missed me, folks, your co-host with the most will be back to keep Adam in line and to keep his head from growing too big.
Certainly not the co-host with the most appearances.
Oh, ouch! Oh.
But will you have actually watched the product?
Hey, I did good today. We'll see what happens.
Do we open the curtain and tell everyone he's reading the results for Raw before we started the show?
Hey! If WWE.com has left me with any knowledge, it's that Big Cass confronted the Dudley Boys.
Not Colin Cassidy, Big Cass.
Absolutely.
Don't call him Colin Cassidy. He'll get yelled at. As always, Jacob, good night and good luck.
And Fandango!
Please.
Fandangoans.
Also, it's Breezongo. Thank you very much. That was good, though. I like that. Thank God we'll never have to hear that again. Take care, Bowlby Faces.
I'm not sure what that means.
It's because you don't listen to the show when you're not on it.
That's true.
Dick.
Too busy producing 2 other podcasts. I should probably stop the recording. Okay.
Don't worry, I'm just going to cut out that part. Everything you said after I called you a dick. So.
Fair enough.
Noise reduction. They changed it. It said noise removal before. Now it says noise reduction.
Oh yeah, I didn't update Audacity because it fucked up. Actually, they changed like a couple of the sound editing stuff on the newer version. The effect that I used to make like the Bellatrix noise in the first story arc, they completely changed like how that's set up. So I had no idea how to make it again. So I had to go back and re-download an older version of Audacity. It was really bad.
Nice.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know how to make the voice. I can't make it sound exactly like it did before.
See,
I just realized I forgot to mention Strawberry Brunch and Divide Melons.
See, Andy hasn't been on long enough. He doesn't know what we do now at the end of the broadcast on the live.
That's okay. I'm going to bring old school back. It's all right.
Here on the YouTube exclusive post show, we read the Google Voice transcripts of the voicemails that we get.
And we do it naked.
No, we don't.
So, guys, I'm going to go.
Because I did forget to mention Strawberry Brunch at the brunch strawberry and Divide Melons at the top of the show, and I feel bad about that. But we got distracted quickly by Ric Flair and
we never discussed Blue Gallows, Carly Anderson, or Gina Ambrose. So
the Polo Club,
the Titty Masters.
Right. Here's the first one. It's me. It's at Really Thought Main Office 90 Guys.
Wait, what? Fuck! Did that say fuck 90 guys?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm here this week to talk to you about the pay-per-view. That was in my gorgeous, not home state, but still one of my favorite places in the world, New Jersey. Extreme Rules. And I've got to tell you, Free Rules wasn't that bad.
Wait, okay, so these are recordings from the voicemails you got?
This is the Google transcript of the voicemails you've received.
Okay, I was confused until that point. I wasn't sure what was going on.
It's actually pretty good. You know a couple headings, but that's okay. That's okay. I thought Extreme Rules was great, that Continental title Max was fantastic, and guys, help on my team, in my team, is retaining his tile with nobody thought he said, hold a candle to the 3 guys from the Yankees, honestly, guys. We know how good Cesaro days and Kayla, but Ms. Elders owned AutoZone. Sorry? But this is what happens when I don't read these beforehand. But Ms. Elders owned AutoZone. I thought it fit perfectly in that match. This was great. Love his whole stick. He's so coffee. So arrogant, actually. I like that fact that they're going to keep that going. Moving on, you had the Asylum Max. Now, I'm a big fan of Dean Ambrose, But guys don't have it through that match. Again, that match minute too long to get the weapons are hanging above the cage, half of them. Look stupid the only time the crock pot or something that wasn't going, wait, hang on. That wasn't going, that was hanging above the cage, which was a dumb deck. I'll give Jericho all the credit in the world, but taking a pump, because that's what sucked. Like, not sucked like it didn't come out good on TV. Like sucked to take that the end of pull up 68 dumb tag from his bringing back later on, I guess. Jericho, the present world.
Well, hats off to him for taking a pump.
But I don't know. Give me a cage match. Keep matches, and especially if you're not going to have a top on it. I think like the rundown on the rundown. Hope, Dad. I'm cleaning what happened if Jericho there escapes. We felt it restart not match. Oh my God! Now on to the main event. You know Roman Reigns and AJ Styles and a good match. Too bad that it's a match. You know a little bit convoluted at the end. Maybe some overbooking, not going to get into how many Styles classes a chair short Roman foot. But you know what? That's all it all. It came back a pedigree the shit out of all the rain. God disappoint. You still use the pedigree. Don't see the point in it now since he's not bother you already normal. But great to see Seth Rollins back. And other than that, I don't think we've got to stop stealing from my book boardroom, like seriously. He's like literally just a minute right now, but anyway. God, that's need free rules or board from your boy. Tommy Month, if not, then I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday, and that's what I call, and I call in a sec. So, that's one.
So much.
Lord. Hey, get on your thingy so I can send this file.
For God's sakes. Can't you see I'm doing something?
No, I don't. Take 3 seconds to get on Skype.
With more understanding of Dana Brooke being interjected into the women's title match than Animal ever have, it is I, Sal, calling you this week to talk a little bit about Extreme Roller, put mostly about Raw to touch on the Dana Brooks thing. I thought it worked. It was going to be a segue to get rid of her father. Voice Charlotte cut a hell of a promo last night on her father. You know it's Charlotte. She's not that bad to talk on the world, but at the same point in time, I felt it. I thought it was believable. Rick crying made it good and shot. Now Ric Flair is out of the pictures. It does everybody is said he should have been 2 months ago, and Charlotte can start a little stable. She's got Dana Brooke watching her back. It's okay that she's called and Dana L. Rick Lee was called in on Answers the Years, and I'm with his enforcer, so I'm fine with it. Hey, I'm moving on the little nuances that paid wrestling crates of that, the little nuances like Chris Jericho coming down last night with all the freaking girls and bandages on his back in his arms. By the way, did you notice that he pronounced it goes and not gauze? Because the word is gauze. Anyway. That was class also. I like the fact that he beautiful cruise, although he was going to be a polar cruise that might not have a payload that's still the same as the tech. When he walked down to the ring, that would have made a little bit more sense, because then it's like, oh well, Apollo got beat because Sheamus beat his ass before yet, and he sold it, and then almost killed themselves during the match. But it is what it is. AJ broke up with the club like you wouldn't break up with an ex-girlfriend that you had just recently got back with. That was awkward, well, but I want to still be friends. And they would like, so we're not friends anymore. So, okay. So that's what he is going to end up doing, although. I thought you meant Kevin Owens had a fantastic man. That was a little bit surprised that other than AJ falling on the roads and Kevin Owens keep the roads, that he's pretty much lost clean. Let again, and no harm, no foul. Kevin all into there, and Kevin, and Sammy's name, Ambrose, Jericho, all of them in the Money in the Bank is going to be amazing. One more person, the Money in the Bank, but I can't remember. It was a VS other than that. You know, obviously, Seth Wrong versus Roman Reigns is a main event, like you said, that WrestleMania worthy. I meant to see what their first encounter will be like, that Money in the Bank, but I'm really interested in the Bank. You know, anybody who went that contract is going to get a huge plus. Cesaro with the other guy in that match, and hopefully 708. Hopefully it's Kevin calling. Also, Red Dragon got killed by Cake, and that just made that whole segment. Talk to you guys next week.
Huh. I sent you the file, sir.
I saw that.
Okay. I'm going to hop off so I can get some stuff done. I will catch you guys later.
Doesn't care about
Later.
Later.
Doesn't care about the show. Tillman, moments ago, it was announced by the WWE that SmackDown will go live on July 19th and no more pre-recorded SmackDown in there has been hands of a new roster for, and now they have yet to announce a draft 8. But assuming that we do have to SmackDown in Ross separate rosters, the brand split that has been speculated for at least 5-6 months, it's finally coming to fruition. Joe and I pose to you this question. If Adam was in charge of Ross and Jason was the GM of SmackDown, who would be your top 3 draft picks and why? And finally, there's a bug in here. Attention, fellow time traveler. Adam, this is another time traveler should Cottonwood. I have before me the results of the WWE draft by for you and all of your listeners. There was a coin toss that occurred and snapped out the first pack. You will not believe who SmackDown picked. The Rock, that's right, the People's Champion. Robin has an X-Pac, and they chose The Undertaker. Amazing first to fix in this trap that gets even better. So that sounds next pick, Kurt Angle. After that product, the NWL, all 3 members, doesn't seem very fair, but that's the way it was. Wait, I'm getting worried here. Wait, this is 20, the 20th, 2002 draft. I'm sorry. Let me try to go a little bit further in the future, and I will try to get you to me, so more to come. It was okay this week. It was all right.
Yeah, Polar Cruise is going to stick.
Polar Cruise. With that, I'm still sweating like a bastard. And I'll say...
Are you on the Skype? Because my
goodbye. I am on the Skype. I have to click the thing. It says it's sending.
Now it's going. Okay.
Now it's motherfucker.
Now
this is going to. Okay. Apparently I have to click on the message in order for it to start actually transferring the files. Bye, YouTube.
Later.
Bitches.